Hi Aquarius, this is your July 24 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, I'm hoping that these messages will resonate and just help you to navigate your way through the next few weeks. It's Romy, thanks for joining me on the channel. We're opening up with the energy of the Nine of Fire, the Nine of Wands. Sometimes it can feel like I don't have what it takes to keep going. You know, there's some part of me that just wants to give up, wants to stop, wants to take time out. And I think that's okay. Sometimes we just need that sacred pause to reflect deeply what our next move is going to be and just to kind of gather up our energy. Aquarius, you didn't go through all that you have for nothing. You haven't reached this point for no reason. And so there is this persistent and persevering energy that has your back. But you know what, if you need to just take a moment, and especially at the beginning of July, you know, Neptune stations retrograde in Pisces on the 2nd. And I think, you know, the stripping back energy that comes with that brings about some powerful realizations of what we've been working towards, some of the ambitions, the hopes, the dreams, what expectations we've held that perhaps, you know, we're now looking at in a new way, or realizing, you know, something hasn't quite unfolded in the way that we expected. And you know, if we allow it, we can become very critical, we can become very disillusioned. And so there's a moment, you know, where we kind of have the reality check, which can land a little bit hard. And then what we're left with, because we feel like it's almost like the sand is shifting beneath our feet, but what we're left with is the revelation of the jewels, the things that we've got to work with. And that can be really powerful if you give yourself permission to see what the universe is directing your attention and your focus towards. Now, that builds us to the new moon in Cancer coming in on the 5th of the month, and you've got it illuminating that 6th house. And so, you know, even though it may feel like some of those day-to-day choices that you're making are insignificant, I think as you focus on some of what we'd say is like the ordinary aspects of your life, you know, there can be something quite glorious about making changes to the ordinary. And mark my words, like over time, over this next 6 months, these small shifts and decisions that began through this month of July are going to have a huge impact on what happens next for you, because it's also enabling you to create space for the things that you want to draw towards you and you want to bring in. So I think you're having a bit of a reset around that new moon, and you're kind of looking at your goals and you're thinking about your desires, and you're also looking for things that are going to be more sustainable, no longer the quick fix. You know, we've got 2 9s coming in. I actually really love this energy for you at the beginning of July because, you know, they hold such a high frequency, and it's also a huge reminder of how far you've come. You know, there's a tremendous amount of self-reliance, I think, that you've had to bring to the table, and your evolution does require elimination at this point. So what do we want to strip back? What do we want to let go of and simplify in our world? Now, there's a lot of feelings swirling around through Cancer season, and we can become overly sensitive, particularly around things that we really want. So we can expect to feel somewhat triggered in that first week, particularly if people are calling us out. Why do you want that? Why are you focusing on this? You know, why have you not let that go? Why are you not moving on? Listen, this is your soul story. No one's walking in your shoes. And I think it is at this moment important that you realize, you know, if you're not over something, you know, it's not about burying it, it's about dancing with it until your body has decided that it's ready to evolve, to clear, to heal, to transmute. Now on the 9th, we've got Pallas Athena, the asteroid goddess, stationing direct in Scorpio, which is your 10th house. Now remember, Pallas Athena is giving us the wisdom to create a new strategy and plan. Now for you, in the 10th house, that might mean that you're going to be thinking about your career prospects, and you're going to be looking at your sense of security and wondering, you know, how do I improve on this? How do I make my mark in the world? What is the legacy I want to leave in the room here? What investments do I need to make? And there's a tremendous amount of focus and detail that is set to unearth in and around that energy shift taking place. Remember, when she was retrograde, she was also having really difficult conversations. So that might have ensued between you and your partner, you and your colleagues, you and your boss, you and yourself, or mentors, people, coaches that you're working with, as to how do I move past the blocks, the limitations, or figure out something in my life that's going to support me to be able to go after the things that matter, or maybe pivot, or maybe realize that something has to be put on hold at this time. So, whatever it is that's taking place, expect in and around those dates that you are going to be coming up with new ideas and a strategy that, by the way, has some real power and depth to it. Because remember, Scorpio isn't just showing up in a shallow, fake way. This is kind of deep and meaningful. And so again, as I said, in sixth house energy, those choices and decisions that you're going to be making in that first part of July have a huge ripple effect. The thing I do want to say, and it's important to remember that again in this first part of the month, right? For your peace of mind, I think it's important to not try to understand everything that is going on around you at this moment, because you're going to get super overwhelmed, especially in this emotive Cancerian energy. It could potentially be incredibly triggering for you. There might be some family stuff going on. You might also get caught up or entangled in situations that do become a little bit draining and are more complex than you initially sort of regarded them to be. So you might have, unwittingly kind of made yourself available or signed up or been sort of driven to want to kind of put your hand up and take something on, and then very quickly realize that this is much more than what you ever expected or anticipated it to be. So keep my words in mind, okay? And if this is something surfacing for you, just take a bit of a check and a step back, because if everything is about stripping back, simplifying, eliminating to help support you get clarity, to help support regulate you mind, body, soul, and to enable you to reflect deeply on your own journey to ensure that your course corrects or adjustments or the things that you're needing to do are prioritized, okay? Now, I do want to call out sort of mid-month, we have some beautiful energies to work with that, by the way, are going to mean that you, Aquarius, are going to be able to charm your way into absolutely anything. We have Venus in Leo coming through on the 11th. We've also got Mars in Gemini on the 20th. Mercury is also in Leo as of the 2nd of the month. We have this bold heart, flirtatious, passionate energy to work with. Patience comes through here. The thing to keep in mind here is I think, you can definitely smooth over any situations that come through with a bit of discord or feel like they're getting maybe a little bit charged. Yeah, remember Cancerian energy, it's a bit sort of passive aggressive. You get that kind of vibe in the room, but you're able to almost just sort of come in with that talkative, communicative, almost like clearing energy, changing the whole dynamic of a situation, okay? And that's going to not only help you, it's going to help everyone else to just kind of get out of their own way and move forward. It may feel like there's a block to trying to find a solution to something and you're talking all around things. You're definitely going to get in front of the right people. You're going to be able to knock doors and have conversations that are all of the right conversations, but there might be a timing component to this. So, you get to have that audience, or you get to have the opportunity to say something, to try to initiate something, but it may be that the answer that comes back is yes, but not quite yet, or yes, but. So that timing aspect is coming in from a divine perspective. So try to sit at peace with that, because lots of moving pieces are kind of happening at this moment in time. So you're not necessarily seeing the bigger picture. Again, as I said, this phrase of sort of not necessarily trying to understand absolutely everything, because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to make all of the chess moves, and it's kind of impossible. There's a divine orchestration in movement right now. For you, it's about, what do I feel inspired to say, to do, to be, where should I be at this moment in time, like all of that kind of self-directed energy. Even if you're not necessarily getting the immediate energetic response, is beautifully sort of preparing something to happen, or preparing the energy of a situation that you've already had like a gut instinct is going to come together or going to work out. That's why you were led to it in the first place. Okay, so kind of keep that in your mind. Now, remember, we're going to have our second full moon in Capricorn arriving on the 21st, right? So the first one happened back in June around the solstice. So what went on? What was the revelation there? You know, this was about the attainment, the achievement of our goals, the realization, the revelation of something. We had those mountains standing before us, you know, and we've sort of almost been pinned in place between these full moons. You know, we've had a second opportunity now to really deal with something, acknowledge something, see something come to fruition in a bigger way, in a very tangible way with that earth energy. Now you've got two of air, two of swords coming through here. Major choice or decision that feels like it's kind of weighty, you know. The thing is, you can control the decision that you're about to make, whether you make it or not. Absolutely, when you make it, how you announce it, but you're not always in control of what happens after that, because then there's so many variable factors: how people will respond, how conditions will change, how that sort of activates like that butterfly effect. And so again, because I sort of have you in this energy around that full moon of almost like trying to overthink or figure out, if I do this and this happens and that, you know, so it's sort of like you're working through your game plan, or sort of, you know, trying to see down the line with something. And I just feel you're not necessarily meant to. There's an unknown component and quality, and it's almost like, look at the energy that's right in front of you. Okay, that's going to matter most to sort of keep you in your lane and keep you on track. I always think with the two of air, we do know the choice we want to make, but for whatever reason, we're holding ourselves in a place of contemplation, indecision. Again, there feels like there's a timing aspect to this. So it may feel that, you know the choice, but you don't think it's the right time, or timing is literally holding up you being able to make this decision, because you might be waiting for more information or something else to happen to be the kind of catalyst, okay? We're going to see the sun shifting into Leo from the 22nd, and of course that's going to light up your 7th house of relationships. So there's a lot shifting and changing then over the next few weeks for you. Now bear in mind, as we make our way towards the end of the month, Mercury shifts into Virgo 25th, and then Chiron is going retrograde in Aries on the 26th. Our healing journey is sort of brought right back into the spotlight here. Ace of Air says we've got a sort of new beginning and some fresh energy and a victory of some sort, you know, in helping you realize how far you've come or you've advanced with a certain aspect that perhaps has felt like quite a deep wound for you. Nonetheless, it can also feel like we've kind of gone round in circles with something, and there's a moment of truth, and perhaps that's directly connected to the decision and choice that you need to make. We just need to be mindful with Mercury and Virgo that we don't get too critical or overly sensitive towards ourselves or others, especially where, you know, we might see that they're trying, although part of us may feel like, well, it's not really good enough. And that's okay. Maybe the choice then comes of like, you know, I know you've made an effort. Nonetheless, I still feel like I have to forge ahead with this path, this move, this outcome for myself. What we also see though around this time is you're going to get incredibly organized and really thoughtful in how you want to do something. Again, back to this plan, this strategy that Pallas Athena feels like she's supporting and helping you with in the month of July. And, you know, I think that there's something uncomfortable around it, but also there's a part of you that's just like, yeah, it's kind of now or never. And I think you are sort of managing and coaching and championing yourself through something towards the end of July, and good for you. I think you should be incredibly proud and also celebratory of what you've managed to achieve. And like I said, you know, you didn't go through all of this for nothing. There's something that's calling you now more persistently than it perhaps ever has before. The way in which you are changing is so fast, it's so powerful, it's so moving in a way, if you kind of look back even to where you were and who you were at the beginning of the year, that you owe it to yourself to make these bold choices, or to really listen to that inner guidance and know that this is something that can be trusted and that must be listened to and acted upon when it feels like the urgency is too great. You know, it's that moment to take inspired action when we feel like we can't do anything but. And I feel like you're coming and arriving at a point in time where that's going to take place with that Ace of Air. It's just like, okay, now. And, you know, there's sort of no stopping you. You know, there's a beautiful momentum that's going to kick off as a result of that, okay? So if you are new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. We talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you, Aquarius. So I hope you'll join me if you're feeling into the reading. It's a way to support the channel so I can keep showing up for the free readings. And I really appreciate and value your investment. Just going to go ahead and clarify the main cards, see some of the messages that will be focused upon for you in that main reading. We've got the World, love that, and Knight of Swords. Now please check out, if you're new to the channel, my website, romywiser.com. You're going to find my book, Moon Musings. You're going to find my sacred title, Life Soul Vision Oracle, ways to work with me, also all of the sacred soul support that I put together to help you with your spiritual journey. Okay, what do we have here for the energy of temperance coming through? 2 of Wands, there's that plan. Another 9 of Cups. Should be something manifesting itself through the course of July that's really beautiful actually for you. Might kind of take you by surprise. It kind of slips in fairly unannounced and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I've been waiting for this. Oh, look at that, the Star, the Ace of Swords, the Fool, beautiful. Okay, a little bit of stress with that King of Swords and the choice or decision that feels like it's around you. Let's have a look at some oracles. So this is my own deck, Life Soul Vision. See what they want to bring to the party. Such precious moments to have through the month of July. We have such finite time. Can you be more present with yourself, with the people that you love? Feels like an important message to return to time and time again, especially this month. Cosmic Rebellion, we've got the Sun. Nourish your inner wealth. Earth medicine and magic cast their spells. Beautiful. Okay, one more oracle for Aquarius for the month of July. What do we have? Finding. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we'll look at that in the extended. Thanks for joining me. Have a great month of July. I will see you again next time. Link for the extended is below. You take good care. Bye for now.